questions race through my mind. What happens if the world is overrun with nuclear weapons? Will it be the end of human life? How does a nuclear bomb work anyways? So that's why I'm here today. I'm doing my topic on nuclear bombs. I can inform you, this is not going to be one of those boring 3-hour speeches which makes you want to go to sleep immediately. So before we go on, I want to give you a better understanding. So here's some facts about nuclear bombs. Nuclear bombs are weapons of mass destruction. Why? Because they create humongous explosions and they can kill millions of people and leave deadly substances behind for decades. There are two main types of nuclear bombs. Atom bombs, also known as atomic bombs, and hydrogen bombs. Only two nuclear bombs were ever detonated for war uses, but they still brought an end to World War II. The first hydrogen bomb was exploded on November 1st, 1952 in the Marshall Islands. Its destructive power was several megatons of TNT, and produced a blast brighter than 1,000 suns. 10 to 100 nuclear bombs will end the world. The sun is sort of like a giant nuclear bomb. It constantly produces energy using a method of a nuclear weapon. Hiroshima and Nagasaki were both bombed with nuclear weapons, and they remain the only places that have been bombed with nuclear bombs. Nuclear bombs are super crazy because of the sheer blast they can cause. Just consider this. A 1 megaton, which is a 1,000,000-ton nuclear bomb, is enough to wipe out the largest city on Earth. Here is a nuclear bomb explosion. I have seen many stories about being bombed and the massive destruction a bomb can cause, but I have always wondered to myself, what is the science behind a bomb? How does it really explode? There are two main ways a bomb can explode. They are fission and fusion. The original ones are fission, which is based on Albert Einstein's E=mc². Mass could be changed into energy. So the nucleus of a uranium-235 gets hit by a neutron and splits into two smaller fragments, and it releases energy and subatomic particles, and those which are particles smaller than an atom, which may collide with other atoms, causing them to split. This is a chain reaction. The two most famous bombings use these methods. They are the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. After this bombing, the Japanese surrendered and World War II came to an end. The second type, here is a nuclear fission animation. The second type is nuclear fusion. A fusion bomb is built around a trigger of a fission bomb. The fission bomb compresses and heats a form of hydrogen, so the atoms start to fuse, again releasing a lot more energy. This is commonly used with deuterium and tritium. They come together to fuse one helium atom and emit energy and a neutron. Here is a fusion animation. We all know the devastating effects of the nuclear bomb during the explosion, but after it's also very, very devastating. Besides creating a humongous explosion, bombs emit a giant burst of radiation that is lethal. This radiation takes place when the atomic nucleus of an unstable atom, also known as an isotope, splits or decays, and starts releasing ionizing particles, known as ionizing radiation. During this process, they will release alpha and beta particles, gamma rays, and X-rays. Because of when these particles come into contact with organic material, such as a human tissue, they can damage them if levels are high enough, causing burns and cancer. Because of that, we try to limit amount of bombing with this weapon of mass destruction, or else we will all have mutated genes, but luckily we will not look like the Incredible Hulk. So then, how do nuclear bombs affect war? In the world, we know that only 2 nuclear bombs were dropped, and they ended World War II, and they were the Fat Man and the Little Boy. But nuclear bombs also played a really important role in the Cold War. So basically, the US and the Soviet were having a competition to build bigger and more stronger nuclear bombs. This led the tension between the US and the Soviet to become worse. This led one of the most significant products of the Cold War, which is the ICBM, also known as an intercontinental ballistic missile. But the Soviet come back stronger and create the Tsar bomber. This became the strongest nuclear bomb in the world. This led to collapse in the Soviet Union. They only put money into the arms race and split up into smaller countries. In the end, thousands of nuclear bombs were created. In the future, when everybody has nuclear technology, will our lives become more efficient, or are we foolish enough to destroy our own kind? Nuclear bombs can destroy the world. Right now, 9 countries have nuclear bombs, and in total there are 14,900 nuclear bombs. And only a minor fraction will blow up the world. A 2014 report found that 10 to 100 nuclear bombs will destroy the world. This will produce 5 teragrams of black soup. That's 5 billion kilograms that will rise up to the Earth's stratosphere, block sunlight. This will also increase 80% in UV radiation and destroy both land and sea-based ecosystem. This is called nuclear winter. I know today nuclear tech also has lots of beneficial uses. I know today everybody's wondering, why do we build these terrible bombs? No, and that is not because humans are devilish and like to nuke each other. Of course you think they're monstrous and terrible, but have you thought about the good side of bombs? Do you think any country will bomb us if they knew we had nuclear bombs? Of course not, because they know we have a chance of bombing them in return. Nuclear power plants provide a significant amount of our electricity. Although it's fallen into disfavor in recent years, because the plants in Ukraine and Japan self-destructed, but in reality, coal and gas are far more dangerous. Nuclear medicine can cure many types of diseases, like cancer, such as heart disease and neurological disorders. Sorry, I am running out of time, but maybe one day you will figure out the mysterious, miraculous nuclear bomb. For more information, go to my blog. Thank you.